we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the After Dark live show. Once again, it's Andrew back again. It's October 18th, 6:02 p.m., 9:02 p.m. Eastern time. This is 6:02 Pacific time here in Las Vegas. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope you are having a great day. It's been a magical day for the Apple people, right? The Apple fanboys, right? So we're going to talk about everything that was announced today. Very exciting stuff in some ways. Some ways, I don't know. I think maybe it's overblown. Who knows? But we're going to get the 16-inch MacBook Pro into the studio. Don't have the exact date, exactly when it'll ship, but I'll be getting it. I've been looking to upgrade my 16-inch MacBook Pro, which you see here, which is the late 2019. Now, they're going to give me about $1,500 for a trade-in, supposedly. So we'll see how that all goes. But I don't know. We'll see. We're going to go. I think YouTube is going bonkers today with this. Let's get a little bit of a level head here. But it has been a magical day. This is a device that will certainly change your life. It'll take you from being a loser to a winner. So how can you go wrong with that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm being a little bit sarcastic there in a sense. Good to see Jeremy Tarter here. Way too expensive, not worth it. We're going to get to my poll in a moment. According to Raphael, I thought today's keynote address was basically geared towards the professional market and not the mainstream user as far as these new laptops are concerned. That is exactly correct. Raphael, tomorrow's Google's keynote address is tomorrow. Samsung's Unpack Part 2 on Wednesday. Very, very busy. And I'll be part of one of those two. And you can probably figure that one out. And then William Cohen's here. Good to see you, my friend. And again, Raphael's here. Steve is here. Good to see you, my friend. And Mallory's here. Yeah, very exciting day if you are if you are an Apple fan. We got Christian here. Good to see you. Duck Vision's here. He likes it, but he is not switching from Windows. I think some of you may feel that way. I'd get it, but I want to stick to Windows. Mac YouTubers are going bonkers. You're not kidding. Not everybody loves the notch. I don't like it, but we'll talk about it. Pass, I'll stick to Windows, according to Jeremy. Yes, it has magical, right, Mallory? Hello to Nguyen to Nan. Good to see you. And Ari Wenger's here. How are you? We got 26 of you watching. Do me a favor, those of you watching, hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. We're close to 119,000 subscribers, so do me a favor. I think we're like 29 or 30 short of that. If we can get those of you who are not subscribed to my channel, I got a lot of exciting stuff coming. Why not subscribe? You may just find something you may like. Yes, thank you so much. And don't forget, we do have memberships open, super stickers, super chats. Obviously, you'll get bumped to the front of the line. You'll get priority, even on this magical day. And what else is there to say? We're back again, and I didn't do a live show yesterday because I knew we were going to talk about this tonight. After dark, we could probably curse. I don't care if I get demonetized. Let's do it. Now, before we get into the meat of the things here, I want to let you know there is a poll that I did put out. I already got 90 votes on it. The categories are, well, the question is, what is your biggest takeaway from today's announcement? And the 4 categories are, love it, pass, I'll stick to Windows, too damn expensive, and that notch. So those are your 4 categories, and 91 votes in so far. 41% love this announcement. They like what they heard from Apple today. 19% are going to pass. They're going to stick to their tried and true Windows, and then it's too damn expensive. 24%, which I think is a pretty interesting sentiment. And then that notch, 16%. I think some of you may fall in multiple categories there. So I'll leave that poll up. We'll take a look at it as we go through this live stream and as we look towards the end to gauge what is the interest in the community. I will have a 16-inch MacBook Pro coming in with the M1. What is the Max? I have the Max coming. It's way too expensive. We're going to talk about it. I am one of those people that probably will get use out of it since I am trying to replace this late 2019 MacBook Pro that I've been using with the Core i9, and I would like to replace it. So without further ado, let's take a look at what was announced today. Obviously, there are 2 new chips from Apple, but let's just take a look at some of the hardware. We'll get into the chips as we go along. Let's take a look at it here. And we can see there they are. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is they're showing a picture here with the notch, but it is with a dark background on that part of the notch. Obviously, they've done that on purpose. Supercharged for the pros. Now, the question is this really for mainstream consumers, or is this geared towards professionals, content creators, stuff like that, which I think it is, because the prices are super prohibitive. We're going to go into it right now. So as you can see, as you open up the laptop, and I'm on Apple's site here, you're going to see the different, when you open it up, I'm actually using that thing there. And then you can sort of move it around and so forth. Let's go back to the overview. If I can get there, of course, things don't cooperate when you're trying to do a live stream here. There it is. Okay. So 13 times faster graphics performance, 3.7 times faster CPU performance, 21 hours of battery life, up to 21 hours. I don't believe any of that until we actually get one into the studio to test. And then up to 11 times faster machine learning. And then, of course, here are the missing ports. Wow, yeah, so we're going to talk about this right now. So we get back some of the missing ports that a lot of people were wanting, including myself. Of course, that's a full-size SD card reader. And as you can see, that is one port I definitely am happy about. If you watch my channel, you probably know that. Next to that is a Thunderbolt 4 port, and then an HDMI, and it turns out that it is a 2.0 port, not an HDMI 2.1. So you're going to ask yourself, well, what's the big deal of that? Well, it maybe is kind of a big deal. I don't know. We'll see. 2.0 can do 4K up to 60 hertz refresh rate, whereas a 2.1 can do up to 4K to 120 hertz refresh rate. So that is something I'm kind of surprised at. Why didn't Apple go with HDMI 2.1? Pretty interesting. Moving over to the other side, you see that it has a very welcome addition, according to some people, which is the MagSafe connector. And then that, of course, will detach magnetically and connect magnetically. And a lot of people wanted to see it back. It is here. Then you have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. And then you have your headphone jack, microphone, headphone combo jack. Good to see that still here. So they brought back a lot of ports. Now, the 2 different kind of, and I hope the stream is coming through. I think the bandwidth may be coming in and out, according to somebody here. We'll see how that all is going to go. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem. Again, my bandwidth hopefully will be good. We got 50 of you watching. Let's talk about the chips here. We got the M1 Pro and the M1 Max. So the M1 Pro, you can go up to, I think, you have up to 10 cores here. And then, of course, you have 16 cores for the GPU, 10 cores for the CPU, up to 32 gigabytes of unified memory. And then, of course, the M1 Max, which has the scary faster, according to Apple, whatever, 10 cores CPU, up to 32 core GPU, up to 64 gigabytes of unified memory. These are things that I'm actually happy about. I know I'm making fun of a lot of the stuff, but that is actually one thing I'm pretty happy about. And so when you get past that, and we'll go inside that a little bit more in a little bit, you're going to do a lot of good stuff with this in terms of ProRes video and playback. If you're a Final Cut Pro user, you're going to benefit from this. So there's a lot of stuff to be excited about here as far as if you're a content creator. So they're saying it's their most powerful chip. We don't doubt it. It's going to benchmark very well, and it's going to do very well. Now, as far as, and then they're talking about an Xcode project here, faster build. And so if you're into that kind of stuff, which obviously I render in 4K on my videos here, that's definitely important. So that's going to be something to be looking at. Now, they're talking about all-day battery life here. So according to Apple, and again, there's a 14-inch model, and then there's a 16-inch model. The 14-inch model will get up to 17 hours of video playback and up to 11 hours of web browsing, wireless web browsing, according to Apple. And that the bigger 16-inch model up to 21 hours of video playback, and 14 hours of wireless web browsing. So we'll test those when I'll do the 16-inch for sure when I get it into the studio, whenever that is. And then, of course, the XDR display. And I'll get to all the comments. Let's just go over what was announced, and then we'll go from there. XDR display, ProMotion, 120 hertz refresh rate. They're acting as if they invented the 120 hertz. They did not, obviously. But this looks like a really beautiful display, and it's going to be a very bright display that's capable of 1,000 nits with a peak brightness of 1,600 nits, as you see here. Mini LED, 10,000 mini LEDs according to them, 1,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio, which is fantastic. I'm looking forward to this display. And it has, what is that, 1 trillion colors, I guess, or whatever that is. A lot of zeros after that one. And then, of course, we're talking about the resolution here. The 16-inch is actually a 16.2-inch, 3456 by 2234. And then 7.7 million pixels, 254 pixels per inch. And then the smaller one is a 14.2-inch display with a resolution of 3024 by 1964. And that is 5.9 million pixels, 254 pixels per inch. And then, of course, they're talking about a big deal of a 1080p camera, which shame on them for having put in a 720p all these years, just like the Windows side. And unfortunately, this is not a Face ID camera, so you cannot log in with face recognition like you can in Windows. So for those wanting that, you're not getting that. 1080p should be standard. I'm not going to get too excited about that. But the thing about it is you'll notice that notch, and I don't understand why Apple's doing it. I guess some people will not like it, but there you go. So Mallory's telling Raphael to provide more screen real estate on the width and a bit more on the height, keeping the notch in line with the menu. Yes, I guess that's why they're doing it. But my counter to that, Mallory, would be, why don't you do what Lenovo did? They put a Windows Hello camera with a reverse notch. You can actually use a reverse notch, which didn't look bad, in my opinion, that we saw in a few of their models. And they were able to put a Windows Hello camera, an IR camera in there. Why can't Apple do it? So instead, they went to go with the notch to match the aesthetics, I guess, of the iPhone. I don't really care for it. It's not a huge deal, but just something to be aware. I'm sure a lot of the internet's going crazy about it, and we'll see what happens. Now, according to Jeremy Tarter, M1 Max on Geekbench 5, shaky numbers. Multi-core was 11,542. I don't know if that's true or not. That is what's on Geekbench. Well, that would be a little disappointing, actually, because I got on mine here, which you see here, this one, which is, of course, the Dell XPS 159510, I think I got close to that or probably more than that on my score. So that would be pretty interesting if that was the case. Again, I have not confirmed that. Does it have Touch ID? No, I haven't. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find anything where it said it had Touch ID. It has a FaceTime camera, but it's not Touch ID. So you will have to use the, I'm sorry, it does have Touch ID, doesn't have Face ID. So I'm sorry about that. Yes, the Touch ID is there from what I understand. It's the same as the MacBook Pro that they have now with the 13-inch. Now, Mallory says, I thought that, but when I wonder if they default to fingerprint and watch, they can do bypass the camera like Windows Hello, but it would have been a great thing. So yes, it does have Touch ID. So the notch is there, whether we like it or not. You know, I don't think it's a huge deal. Do I like it? No, but it's there, and we'll see. I mean, it's like anything else. After you use it for a while, you probably don't even notice it that much. I don't think you could unsee it once you see it, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, we've got 57 of you watching. The poll is right now underway on the chat. If you can go there, what is your biggest takeaway from today's announcement? You love it. You can pass on it. You'll stick to Windows. Too damn expensive. And, the notch. Right now, 41% of you are liking it. So you're happy with today's announcement, and I'm not surprised. 116 votes, so 41% like it. 19% want to stick to Windows. They don't care about this. Too damn expensive, almost a quarter of you, 24%. And then, that notch, 15%. So I don't think the notch is going to be a big deal. And I think the poll is showing us that. East 10th is saying, do you think it'll run AAA games like Crysis? I don't know. Again, until we get one into the studio for me to test out, I won't know. But then again, we'll have to see gaming. I don't know. We'll have to see gaming on that, how that's all going to play out. So we'll see. But, you know, as far as what we've seen so far, these two chips, and then I'm gonna be getting the one with the M1X, or the M1 Max rather. I'm sorry, the M1 Max on mine, and it is prohibitively expensive. Let's talk pricing, because this is, and if you want to compare some of the models, we'll get to the pricing in a moment. But if you want to compare some models, sorry about that. Let me try again. If you want to compare some models here, start with the MacBook Pro 13-inch from late last year, and that has, of course, starting at $1299. This one, the 14-inch, $1999 US prices, of course, and $2499 for the 16-inch. So if I say, and then there's a difference between the different screen sizes. It's a good comparison. 8-core, 10-core, 10-core. You can max out the Pro 13 up to 16 gigabytes, and then you can go up to 64, depending on the chip you choose on the bigger models. 2 terabytes max in terms of storage on the 13-inch. 14 and 16 can go up to 8 terabytes, which is a lot of storage, and it's very expensive. And then, of course, our battery life, they're claiming up to 20 hours, 17 and 21. The touch bar is gone on the bigger models. You now just get Touch ID. And good riddance, by the way, on the touch bar. I'm not a big fan of it. So those are the comparisons. If we want to order a 14-inch, then you have your choices here. Now, the interesting thing, and I think I'm showing this. Hold on. So if I go back here, why is that showing on there? I did this last time, and I don't remember what I did. So if I go there, and then I go here, and I want to get rid of that, how do I get rid of that? Little technical difficulty here, people. Just bear with me one moment. Let me go here. Let me go here. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, we're good. So there we go. Sorry about that. Back to the regular scheduled program here. $19.99 gets you 8 cores, 14-core GPU, 8-core CPU, 16 gigabytes of unified memory, 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. I guess for a lot of you it would be okay, but that only has a 67-watt USB-C power adapter, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if that's enough power supplied for this GPU CPU combination here. And then, of course, you get for $24.99, you move to a 10-core CPU, and that's the one they showed on the event. They didn't talk about, interestingly enough, they didn't talk about an 8-core processor, so that's pretty interesting. And then that can go up from there. So if we really want to max it out on the 14-inch, let's click that. And if you really want to go crazy, let's go $400 more, get you the 32-core, 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU. And then let's go to 65 unified memory, and look at the price. It's going up ridiculous. And for shits and giggles, let's just go to 8 terabytes of storage. Oh, wow. This thing is expensive. Oh, boy. Almost $6,000 with tax. You're over $6,000. That is expensive, people. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This thing is expensive, and that's for the 14-inch. Now, if we go back, and if we want to look at the 16-inch, oh boy, and that starts at $24.99, right? Let's go to the most expensive one. I'm just curious to see, and then I'll show you the one that I'm going to get. So let's go up to 64 gigabytes of memory, the unified memory. Let's hit the 8 gigabytes of storage. Let's, wow, $6,099. Oh, wow, that is just, that is crazy. Now, again, in all fairness, this is probably going to be paid by, your corporations that are doing this, or your company's going to pay for this, because I'll be honest with you, for the average consumer, this is way, way overkill and way too expensive. I would go with the M1 Air or the M1 Pro 13. I don't think you need this. This is just overkill, unless you're doing specific video editing, 4K or 8K video editing, whatever it is, and you need that extra horsepower. But this is cost prohibitive. Wow. Now, I'm impressed with the specs, but not that price. That is crazy. If I decide to play the lottery and be fortunate enough to win a substantial amount of money, I might then consider buying this. Yeah, this is very expensive. Oh, we got our first super chat from Duck Vision. Wow. All right. Getting the ball rolling here. $6.69 from Duck Vision. Expensive. Don't expect Lenovo style sales here. No, you're not gonna have those Black Friday sales from Lenovo or the monthly sales from Lenovo. No. Good to see, and thank you, by the way, Duck Vision, for that super chat. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Raphael laughing. Good to see you. Happy Monday. I'm glad you could join us. What do you think about the new MacBook Pros, Robert, that have been announced? I got one. I ordered one. We'll talk about that in a moment. I don't know when I'm going to get it because I didn't order it as it was. I couldn't get on. The site was down. But anyway, long story short, I do have one eventually coming here, and we will look at it. And I'm not in a rush to review it because everybody and their mother are going to get a review unit from Apple, except me, of course, and they're going to be able to review it before I do. But I'm going to do my style of review. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, people. Yes, it is spendy. I agree. Do you see supply chain issues with this? Well, I think they waited. This was supposed to be announced back in June or whatever it was supposed to be, apparently, because of the supply constraints. They pushed it to now. Maybe they will have good supplies. I don't know, but we'll see. I guess they're already pushing this to December now. This one is showing December, but this is, and if we go here, you're saying December 10th, December 23rd, and that is ridiculous. But again, this one is the fully loaded one. Now, if we go back to here, and let me go back and let me show you the one that I chose. And I'm trying to replace my 2019 MacBook Pro 16, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it. This is very expensive. So if we go back to the 16, where was it? The one that I chose. Yeah, I think it was this one, actually. So it was this one, and it had the M1, and I think I did 32. That was it. I did the 32, and then I did a terabyte of storage because I'm not, I can't afford to go any higher than that. And then, I think it came out to like $3,500 plus tax. Now, here's the thing, people. They did give me, according to their configurator thing, for a trade-in, they're going to give me for my MacBook Pro, which I paid, it's over here, which I paid $3,100 or plus tax in 2019. I think they're giving me almost $1,500. So that does help offset the costs somewhat. Yeah, they're cool, Robert, but they are pricey. And I don't think if the average consumer needs it, they shouldn't spend this kind of money just to have the latest and greatest. I think they can do, they're in the Mac system and they don't want to do Windows. They can go get the M1 Air, the M1 13, M1 Pro 13. They'll be fine. In comparison, this makes Microsoft units you look recently not so bad. So, yeah, I mean, this is very prohibitively expensive. Prohibitively expensive. All right, so now, according to Jeremy, the reason I brought up the Geekbench multi-core score was that the Alder Lake, and that is the one coming from Intel that we're waiting, that i9 12900K chip was $17,299 versus the $11,542 for the M1 Max. But those numbers are alleged, but if true, a disappointment for Apple. Again, these are alleged numbers. We don't know, Jeremy, but if it is true, yeah, I would be a little bit disappointed, especially at that price point. And again, I'm looking forward to the Alder Lake. And that was the other thing that I noticed with a lot of these Mac tech YouTubers or whatever you want to call them. They're holding like a funeral for Intel, which I think obviously is a little premature. I mean, let's be realistic. Everything is so great on day one. Nobody has one of these in their hands, right? At least they're not saying they do. And then they're coming up with all these, superlatives for it. I haven't heard anything bad. Maybe the notch is a little bit controversial. But the fact of the matter is they made a lot of improvements here, a lot of the things that people wanted, but at ridiculous price. I mean, and again, I'm not saying that this Dell here that I have was not overpriced. Sure was. But you know what? I can upgrade it. I can I have a touch screen on it. I have a lot of things I can do with this one rather. And I can use, I can do all these things, upgrade the storage, upgrade the RAM. It's got a nice, decent GPU in there, good performance. I'm very happy with it. And this costs $3,000. But at the same time, the Mac, it's going to cost, the one I want is double this, double. So I'm hoping to get double the performance at least. So there you go. Oh, wow. Robert with a super chat. All right. Good to see you, Robert. We've missed you the last couple of weeks. Good to see Robert here. $100 super chat. And let's give it up for Robert. He is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Thank you, my friend. Let's also agree that just because new models come doesn't mean the old models are worth nothing. In fact, I would look at the M1 Air and the M1 Pro 13-inch very carefully now, because you probably can get it at a pretty decent price and good performance out of that. And it's just great for most people. I think that's the one you need to go to. Those two. Those are going to be perfectly fine. For those that are professionals, maybe they should look at these new ones. But I think for the average consumer, my opinion, either look at a Windows machine or look at some of the M1 Macs from late last year. But that's just me. But they're going nuts on the YouTube with this. So we're going to take a look back at our poll, and we have 144 votes. Those of you that are asked you what's your biggest takeaway from today's announcement, 41% love it, 21% now pass, I'll stick to Windows, 22% too damn expensive, and 17% the notch. So pretty interesting. 41% are generally positive with it. So I think that's a good sign for Apple. But again, I think let's wait till the dust settles. Let's wait till the hoopla dies down. And I think we will be more, have level heads, and we can come to a really logical conclusion about it. Price is too damn high, Robert, and I agree. Price is too damn high. Welcome, for those joining us late, to the After Dark show. It is now 76 of you watching. Hit that thumbs up, people. We're looking at the announcement today from Apple, the two M1 Pro chips, well, one M1 Pro chip, one M1 Max chip, and the two new laptops they did announce today. So there you go. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're very close. I'm very close to 119,000. So if you can do me that favor, let's get me there. I need only another, let's see here, 29 subscribers. So if we can hit it tonight, that would be great. If not, I'll get it tomorrow. No big deal. Channel's looking good, people, by the way. Views are up 40 to 50% last couple of months, so that's good. Growth, we've hit positive growth once again. I'm hitting 2,500 subscribers a month, which is great, nice and steady. And we're going to hit 120,000. And I just hit another milestone this past week, 25 million views. So I want to thank everybody, because I couldn't have done it without you. 25 million views. I still can't believe it. I'm pinching myself. Wow. That to me is amazing. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Now, according to Akshay, starting price for the base model should have been $17.99. And that's not a model I think you should get, right? I think you should go, if you're going to go for that entry-level 14-inch, you might as well go for the 13-inch from late last year and save yourself some money. There you go. Yeah, thank you, Handquake. I appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you for that one very, very, very generous $100 super chat. I really do appreciate it. Really means a lot. All right. So back to this. All right. So this is pretty expensive, people. We cannot sugarcoat it. It's very expensive. Even your live streams are getting a lot of views. So you know what? I noticed that I may not get a lot at once, like during the live stream, but I'm getting a lot of replays lately. And I'm noticing a lot of YouTube search-based traffic, which has been pretty good, driving up the views as well. So that's been pretty good. That means people are interested in the stuff that I'm doing. They're looking for it, not necessarily subscribing. That's fine. They're looking for information, and they're coming to my channel for it. That's pretty good. So I'm happy, and I'm getting a pretty good click-through rate also. My thumbnails seem to be working. So we'll see. And then this time of year, hopefully we'll keep growing as much as we can, because, of course, this is all going to come crashing down after the holidays. All right. So $2,000 starting price and still no super drive. How dare them, right? And they have the audacity not to give us an HDMI 2.1 port. They give us a freaking HDMI 2.0 port. So that means 4K 60 hertz, no 4K 120 hertz. Shame on you, Apple. Shame on you. And by the way, for those joining us late, these are two very magical devices that will change your life, according to Apple. If you watched that event today, these two laptops that were announced will change your life in ways you can't even imagine. It's so magical. Okay, so there you go. Oh, no 5G. Yes, no 5G. Really, that's kind of disappointing, actually, the more I think about that. This is an ARM chip, right? They do Windows on ARM with 5G. Why can't there be a Mac with 5G? So what the heck, Apple? Yeah, I agree. I'm going to have something to say on the Pixel that's going to be announced tomorrow. I can't talk about it yet. Andrew, they're having calling hours for Intel when Alder Lake hasn't even released. Let me tell you something, and I agree, Jim. This is ridiculous. Who was it? I just saw it before we went live tonight. Oh, what's his name? The big Apple guy with the white beard. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm having a senior moment, even though I'm not that old. At least I don't think I am. Oh, Rene Ritchie. That's it. Rene Ritchie was having a funeral for Intel. His thumbnail, with the face, the face, they make the YouTube face, and he's saying that it was annihilation, that Intel was annihilated. Has anybody got any benchmarks other than what we saw from what we saw from Jeremy with the leaked one? But that's not official. So how do we know it's been annihilated? Just because Apple said so? I don't believe that. I don't know that. Let me get one in. We'll talk more about it. But the funeral for Intel is just underway, according to these people, which is obviously ridiculous. And I'm being a little bit sarcastic. Rene Ritchie, he does his thing. He's an Apple guy. He should be talking up Apple, but they're burying the Intel. The funeral's underway. They're having their viewing hours for them. They're done. Amazing announcement today. I agree, lack of 5G too, but everything else is amazing. So Italo, all joking aside, I am happy with a lot of the things they did. The things that I am happy about, the 16-inch display obviously is going to be beautiful with the Pro Retina and the 120 hertz refresh rate. They didn't invent it, people, but yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the ports being back. Those missing ports are a pretty big deal here. I think they did a good job, although it would have been nice to have HDMI 2.1, not 2.0. Intel is not dead, people. Just remember that. They're going to have something to say when it's all said and done. We've got Alder Lake coming. So just plan ahead. They're not dead, at least not yet. Plus, no USB-A port. No USB-A port, but you know what? It was so bad, the port situation on this model, that I'll take what they're giving now, even though a USB-A port, because they do give you a full-size SD card reader, which this sorely needs, in my opinion. They do give you HDMI, although it's not HDMI 2.1. They do give you the 3 Thunderbolt 4, and they do give you the MagSafe. MagSafe, I guess, is okay. I don't care one way or the other for that, but a lot of people like that. According to Win, I think the new Mac is more expensive than the Microsoft Surface Studio. Yeah. I mean, that was overpriced as well, and I put that as one of my cons in my review. But that's a different device. I mean, that one, you can use a pen, and that's a very interesting device, especially for digital artists. You have a pen, you've got the different modes on it. It's a pretty versatile device when you compare it to something like this. So pretty interesting. 94 of you watching. Good to see everybody joining us late. We're talking about the new MacBook Pro Pros that have been announced today. And it's pretty interesting, I gotta say. I'm happy that they are going this direction. I think the Pro segment needed to be addressed. It's been long neglected by Apple, and I think this one has done a lot. The pricing is just obscene, though. That's the one thing I told you what I liked about it. The pricing is not so great. Not so great. And And I don't think you want any of their entry levels of these stuff. You need to get it with real 512 gigabytes at this price point for a professional is just not going to cut it. That's crap. That's shit. You want to go something more. You're definitely going to pay the price. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way you can go inside this laptop to upgrade any of the components. That is another negative aspect of it, unlike the Windows laptop. And again, I have one here. This is my XPS 15 9510 with the OLED display, 3.5K. I'm absolutely loving it. Now, yeah, this is very expensive. This is over $3,000 itself, but I can upgrade the components. I can put more RAM. I can put more storage. I can I can navigate with touch. This is a touch display. It's a multi-touch display. It's actually been working out really well. It's got a discrete GPU, pretty decent, not the best in the world, but decent with the performance out of this Core i9. I'm happy with it. Now, that's me because I like this, but I also like Macs. I'm platform agnostic. If you watch my channel, you know that. But at the price point where you're looking at over $6,000, we priced it out, it is utterly ridiculous. And there you go. It's utterly ridiculous. All right, we've got close to 100 people watching, but we only have 63 likes. Hit that like button, people. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. Let me just check something here. Okay. All right. So, you know, what you're getting with this is going to be geared towards professionals. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't think any of the average consumer should buy this. This is not geared towards the average consumer, and the prices reflect that. Apple absolutely does not let you upgrade your SSD. Usually there's a security chip that is married with the rest of the system, and that's unfortunate because they do charge an obscene amount to upgrade the storage when you're checking out. It is obscene. And if you want to, again, we go back to this, let's order one of these supercharged for pros, as they say. I mean, the marketing is just ridiculous. Just get to the business here, not with this magical bullshit, you know. But again, I'm happy with what they did here. I'm not happy with the pricing. Look at this, $24.99, 10 core, 16. That's for the 16-inch, starting at $24.99, and that one only has 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. That is just ridiculous. 512 gigabytes is just not enough, and no way to expand it out. Unlike my Dell here. Now, if you go up to a terabyte, you're looking at $26.99. And then you're going up to $34.99. You're moving to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you're going to that M1 Max chip. So that's where it gets really, really expensive. No, not many people can afford this. And that's where it gets too expensive. I think it's a nice Windows laptop. I think a nice Windows laptop is still the best for the average consumer, just my opinion. I think a lot of people feel that way, Jeremy. And I think they're buying into the hype. I think once the hoopla and the hype dies down, I think people are going to come to their senses. They're rushing to buy this stuff. Don't rush to buy this, people, unless you really need it. I think let's get the reviews in. Let me get my unit in. Let's see how it does, and let's come to conclusion then. But it's not the second coming of whatever. This is not the be-all, end-all. This will not change your life in any way, although maybe you will be a better, more productive professionally. That would be nice, but at what price, right? So it might be worth it in that regard to some extent, but this is not going to change your life. This is not going to, you're not going to get married because of this. You're not going to get a good job, although maybe you would, who knows? But let's temper our excitement. I am excited they did upgrade it, but I think we need to just take a step back, chill out a little bit, and let the dust settle, and let's get, there's no funeral for Intel here, people. That's ridiculous talk. Let's get back to reality, and let's see how it comes. Adobe Max is next week, and I think that this 16-inch will be incredible with Adobe software. They did show a representative in the event today from Adobe, so that looks interesting. Yes, it is definitely for pros, for those who really know what they are going to do with it, and not for an average consumer. Those prices are prohibitive for a consumer, and the consumer shouldn't be buying it. They should be buying the M1 Air or the M1 Pro 13, not these. And I wouldn't go for these entry-level ones just because that's ridiculous. 512 gigabytes, you can't do anything with 512 gigabytes of storage, and you can't expand it out. So that's a problem right there. You'll regret it. It's becoming the new 256, absolutely. I wouldn't get this without a minimum of 1 terabyte, and probably more. I only went with 1 terabyte because I can't afford to go any higher. I'd be bankrupt. This is ridiculous, with the pricing. The M1 is better than any mobile processor Intel has out. Yes, probably, but there's more to that just tells you one part of the picture. There's more to the picture that you're not seeing here that we need to see. And first of all, we haven't benchmarked these, and we'll have to see how they are once they are into the studio. Probably, but at what price? Double, triple the price of some of these Windows laptops? That's ridiculous. I mean, I know some of these laptops, especially this one, was very expensive. Again, I spent $3,000, but I can expand this. I have a touchscreen. I've got OLED, although that's going to be beautiful in the Mac, the one that they're going to give you with the ProRes display and all that stuff, the XR display, whatever they call it, mini LED. But this, I'm very happy with it. And I like the fact that I could expand it, that it will grow with me in the sense that I don't have to go out and spend another $3,000, $4,000 every couple of years because I know this is going to be expandable. So there you go. I too purchased the 1 terabyte, same as you. I use so much cloud storage, I really don't need to spend the extra money. And Mallory, as I say, I would get it. It's just too damn expensive. To go from, and I'll case in point, let's select this 16-inch here. And let's, so right now I'm at 32 is what I got. To go to 64, that's another $400. That's already up to $38.99. And that's with just a terabyte of storage, which is what I have on my 2019, actually. And that's fine. But if I wanted to go to 2 terabytes, guess what? That's another $400. That's a lot of money. 4 terabytes would be, so you go 4, you have to add another 600. And then to 8 terabytes is another $1,200. And you're said without tax here in Nevada, you're looking at $6,099. That is just obscene. That's ridiculous. You can max out the M1 Airs, 3 of them, for the price of the maxed out 14-inch, and still the M1 Air maxed out at close to $2,000. The pricing, people, the pricing is just too prohibitive. It's a little bit ridiculous. All right, we have 110 of you watching. Good to see everybody. For those of you joining late, it's Andrew back again, another live stream. Again, I didn't do my normal live stream yesterday because I knew we were going to cover this today. So I'm happy with a lot of the stuff they announced. Like I said, the display looks amazing, although I'm not a fan of the notch. I'm just honest with you. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but not something I'm crazy about. And then, of course, I like the fact that we're getting the missing ports that should have never left in the first place. Okay. Now, a couple of things here. There's no face recognition, no face ID, 1080p webcam, which should be normal. We're not going to applaud Apple for putting a 1080p webcam. I know I bash the Windows people, the Windows OEMs. I'm going to bash Apple. This should have been done a long time ago. There's no question. And then, of course, I like the fact that you're getting the MagSafe. That's great. All that stuff. The SD card is great. All that stuff is great. Great battery life, and it does run cool, apparently. But again, until we have one into the studio, we don't know. We don't know how this all comes together. It is thicker, by the way. Did you notice it? That it almost reminded me of the MacBooks from, like, say, 2009, the thickness. They had to go thicker to bring those ports back. And that's fine. If you give me a bigger battery and give me those missing ports, I'm actually fine with that. Hey, the price is fine. What are you trying to do to my Apple stock? Well, that's a different story, Handquake. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? It was a magical day with magical pricing. You should go out. Everybody should tap into your life savings, go into debt. You should buy this. There's no question you're going to go from a loser to a winner. And that's my advice to you. You must buy this. This is magical. This will change your life. You'll get married. You'll find a girlfriend, my friends. There you go. Or a boyfriend or whatever. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, okay? I'm just having a little fun with the After Dark show. So, Alder Lake. Let's talk. So the death of Intel. So are we attending the funeral of Intel? Well, it seems like it from the way the Tech YouTube reacted today. It was absolutely ridiculous. Alder Lake may come close in performance, but not as the power draw and the heat issues of Intel. Always put Intel on the back foot. And I think you bring up a good point. I think one of the best, and I was joking before about the changing your life and all that. I think one of the benefits of these chips, of course, they're very efficient. They're going to be very good in terms of the thermals, and therefore they'll get more efficiency out of those chips. Again, but that doesn't tell you everything about the laptop. Again, we need to see it in the studio. We need to put it through the paces. All right. Yeah, please. Thank you, Raphael. Please hit the like button, people. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. We're very close to 119,000 on our push to 120. My goal for the year was to get to 120. We're on our way. We're going to be ahead of schedule. So let's get there. Let's keep growing. We're going to hit 120. I just hit 25 million views. I want to thank everybody for that. So a lot of good things, good growth on the channel, good views are up, a lot of search-based traffic, as I mentioned earlier. So things are looking up. So hit that thumbs up to signify your support of the channel. All right. How am I going to play AAA games on this new MacBook? I don't know. Again, maybe through Steam or whatever. I don't know how you're going to do it. Macs aren't great for the gaming, but maybe you can on this. I don't know. Anyone know how they can play the AAA games? Let us know. Please hit the like button. We talked about that. Now, it seems that the thickness, but it looks thicker to me, right? And it does look old style, almost a la 2009. Really interesting stuff when it comes to that. Let me just see where we are with the subscribers, because you never know what happens with that. Yeah, we're only 24 away, so that we're very close to 119,000. All right. So Jeremy's very, very disappointed that they still don't have Face ID for the Mac. Windows Hello has been around at least 2015 when it was announced. And what's interesting, Jeremy, and I pointed this out earlier, they could have done the reverse notch, right? Like Lenovo did, right? They did the reverse notch, and they did it right because it's not obnoxious. It looked blended within the design. It looked good. And I thought it really was good. And the fact that it had Windows Hello and IR camera made it even better. So it also acted as a latch for you to open up the laptop. So it was form and function were good, as well as the aesthetics. So why not go with that? Why not try that? You know, maybe they couldn't. Maybe Lenovo does have a patent on that. Who knows? After buying this laptop, you'll not be able to afford the AAA games. I won't be able to afford a lot of things after this laptop. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it. Financially, I don't know. Again, I'm only doing it because I can get a trade-in from Apple, almost $1,500 for this. And of course, I paid $3,100 3 years ago, but that's okay. That's a pretty decent trade-in. I got to give them credit. So that does lessen the blow a little bit. Now, we've got a super chat from Duck Vision, $5, all right. Thicker for the cooling capacity, more likely, I believe. I agree. I think that's what it is. They're not going to, and hopefully more battery life. They're not going to want that bad PR that their new chips overheat like when they had with the Intels. Probably, they're within their transition from the Intel chips, halfway through their transition. They mentioned it today. According to Robert, Apple has to make up for all the iPhone 13s that they gave away. The money has to come from someplace. Well, they are nickel and diming you on this. There is no question, Robert. The pricing is just outrageous. Same width. Okay. To me, it looked thicker. I don't know what it is. It looked thicker, and it looked old school to me, which is not a bad thing. I kind of liked it. I'm just saying it looked kind of thicker. Again, maybe for the cooling, maybe for battery life. Thicker means you're going to have more space for the ports. That's welcome. I have no trouble accepting that. If your Dell XPS is so great and upgradable, why are you using a Mac for your studio? Because I use both platforms. I use both, and I've mentioned that before. If you follow me for any sort of length of time, you know I use Final Cut Pro for a lot of the videos. I also use Premiere Pro. I use this because I'm using specific software called Ecamm Live, and it's Mac only, and I like it. I love Mac. I grew up on Macs, and that's why I'm using it. But I also love this. I love being able to touch the screen. I love being able to upgrade the RAM, the SSD. I like being able to have that ability to expand it out. And and by the way, I'm a big fan, and this is Windows 10. I didn't upgrade this particular laptop, but I upgraded some other ones that I have here to Windows 11, and I showed it with the Surface Studio, Laptop Studio, and the Surface Pro 8 that I have here. I'm very, very impressed with what they did with Windows 11. I don't have a preference. Again, I'm platform agnostic. I'm for whatever gets the job done. So I have a Mac. I have Windows stuff here. I've got it all here. So there you go. So you could see it here. I've got it all. Mac here, Windows here. We're good, my friend. We're good. MacBook looks ancient, right? So they did slim out the bezels, but they had to put that notch in there. So not great, not great. All right, we've got 105 of you watching. We've got 93 likes. We're close to that 1-to-1 ratio. I want to thank everybody so far for showing up. 107 of you, which is good. We're closing in on an hour. I don't know how long we're going to go, but so far it's looking like a pretty nice live stream. I actually really like Apple. I own several of their products, but there are some great Windows machines out there as well. And I agree, Robert. I think that's an excellent point. Like I mentioned, you don't have to be one camp or the other. If you're a fan of tech and you enjoy good craftsmanship, if you enjoy good, just having the latest and greatest and stuff like that, like me, I'm platform agnostic. I'll use anything as long as it's good and it gets the job done. And that's all you need to know, right? So there you go. I don't discriminate. I'm a full-time offender for everybody. There you go. Can you see my message? Tech for your needs. No, I didn't see it. I must have missed it. Repeat your message, Tech for your needs. Tech for your needs. Good to see you, by the way. I might have missed it because I'm one person here today, but repeat your comment or question, and we will talk about it. Apple tries to pull people in with stats. No good. So a lot of the stuff it's their marketing. They're going to do their marketing shtick. So take a lot of what you saw with the numbers today with a grain of salt. Take it for what it is. Until we get the real units in to benchmark them, we don't know. We don't know anything. That's what it's all about, Andrew, for me. Right, exactly. I agree, Robert. I'm unable to watch the stream. Okay. Am I having bandwidth issues? It looks good to me. It looks like we got strong bandwidth, Tech for your needs. I'm not sure what to say about that. Maybe it's your connection. I don't know. But anybody else having issues, let me know. The new laptop is only 2.5K. So did they go down in resolution, or my stream is fine, right, Mallory? Thank you. Did it go down in resolution or not? I don't remember. I don't remember if they bumped up the resolution. It is 120 hertz now, and they're using the ProRes display or whatever they're calling it, and it's the promotion or whatever they're calling it, and it's a 120 hertz display. And if you saw my review of the Surface Pro 8 or the Surface Laptop Studio, I'm a big fan of it. I like it. It's good. So maybe check your bandwidth, Tech for your needs. According to David Giluli, 32 gigabytes with 1 terabyte MS Studio, 2,700. That's the Laptop Studio. 14-inch MacBook Pro, 2,900. So they're both expensive devices. And one of the cons that I had with the new Microsoft offerings, they were very expensive. But I think those they're different, targeting a different audience in some sense, because those are more for digital artists. Again, they like to use the pen. They don't want to carry a separate device for inking. They want to be able to ink on the device, to draw on the device. And I thought that they did a really good job, by the way, on that Slim Pen 2. I thought it was really good with the haptic engine on it. Notch is abusive for the full screen, Barabu Live. Well, I'm not a big fan. I didn't like it on the iPhone 10 when it debuted, and I don't like it now. And I don't like the fact that it's there now. But again, I thought they could have done what Lenovo did, as I mentioned earlier, maybe do the reverse notch, have an IR camera so you can have face recognition like they do. But that's not what we get here. That's not happening, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately. Let me just check one thing because I want to make sure the stream is okay. It looks like it's okay. I've got really good bandwidth. I don't know why he's having trouble. We're only 20 subscribers away from 119 on our way to 120. So if you want to subscribe to get some more great content, hit that subscribe button below, people. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss anything. I do got a lot of good stuff on the way. All right. Any other comments or questions? According to Jeremy, does Apple seriously think people have $6,000 sitting in their bank account for a 16-inch laptop? They apparently do. You know, I guess it is for professional organizations that do media, that do video editing, stuff like that. They have the money. And it's for that, it's not so crazy because they don't mind spending that because they're going to make it back many times over with the jobs that they get and the efficiency they'll be able to use with this device. Now, I'm one case in point where I am that type of audience for professional use to give you that 4K video, to render ProRes video. And that's what I'm the target audience for this. But I don't like spending $6,000 plus for getting the storage I need or the amount of RAM that I need. That's just ridiculous. So I have to compromise what I can do because I don't want to spend the extra money. I can't upgrade it myself, and that's the problem. Yeah, it's like buying a car, David. You start off with the entry-level model. They say it's $30,000 for this X car, whatever it is. And then you go in, all the doodahs and extras and all the bells and whistles, and you're out there, and all of a sudden you just spent another $20,000. Same thing on renovation, by the way. Always add another $20,000. I'm doing a renovation in the studio in my house here, and that's exactly what we're experiencing. All right, we got a super chat from Reza. $9.99. You're doing great, Andrew. I appreciate that, Reza. Thank you so much for your generous super chat. I appreciate that. I'll wait until I see the real world test before buying, and I think that's a very sensible approach. Everybody went nuts, and I understand it's a lot of hype, a lot of hoopla, and they're great. They're master marketers over at Apple, but people will buy it, and God bless them. I'm one of them because I'm doing it for you guys, but I'm also doing it for the channel as well. And again, I don't even know if I'm going to keep it. Another $5 super chat this time from our good buddy Tim Shadler. Great stream. I'm happy you like it, and I kind of like this time. And I'm toying with the idea of maybe making the After Dark a permanent thing. After Dark, we could curse a little bit. We could drink a little bit. I meant to bring a beer again. I forgot. I had it in the freezer, getting it all ready, and I didn't bring it down. Oh well, next time. And then we'll bring some vodka, we'll bring some brandy, maybe we'll bring some whiskey, maybe, and we'll make it into a more interesting live stream, right? We'll hang out. Am I going to review the new Asus ZenBook Pro Duo UX582? Yeah, if Asus sends it to me, but you know how it is with Asus on my channel. It's hit or miss. Yeah, I will be getting that. Just stay tuned. That's with the dual screens on that one. Well, is that? Yeah, that has, of course, the screen pad. All right. According to BM3, your videos are awesome. I believe you're underrated. Well, a lot of people tell me that. I'm happy to the success we've had so far. Great quality and production. I wish you 5 million subs. You know what? I'm happy with the type of community that we've been able to build here. We may not be as big as some other channels, but it's a really devoted channel community here, and I couldn't ask for more. And obviously, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you, you people showing up every week to watch the videos, the live streams, and so forth, hitting the like button, subscribing. It all helps and leads to channel growth, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now I'm talking. Yeah, we need to start drinking. All right. Please hit that like button. Yeah, Raphael, we can get a little drunk while watching the After Dark. Yes. More engaged and followers and subscribers is always better than just the quantity. I agree, Mallory. And I would rather have a smaller, more engaged, loyal following than fickle fans that come and go that don't really add anything because they're not really watching. So what do I need them to subscribe for, right? So engagement is very important. And this is one way for me to engage with the community. It lets me do that. And William, we've said this before, and I appreciate that. My channel is more quality than quantity. Yeah, and I try to give you the quality because there's a lot of Joe Blow type videos out there that will just take their iPhone, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, and just point it at the product and give you some raw opinions, and that's great. There's a place for that. But I want to give you a little bit more polished, a little bit more thought on it, and a little bit more professionalism, and I hope it comes through. That's okay, Portal Player. You got it. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't spam the chat, people. But he didn't spam the chat. Okay, Carrie says, right to repair is becoming obsolete. Yeah, you forget about repair on this effing thing. Well, not on this one. This one you can. I should be pointing to this, which is not this, but this. You will not be able to repair this unless you go to the quote-unquote genius bar. No repair right here. They lock it down. Walled garden. We know the story. And again, I'm a big fan of Apple. I'm streaming with an Apple right now. So don't think like that comment earlier that, I'm trying to how could I bash Apple, but I'm using an Apple. I never said that. I like Apple. I like the software. I like the hardware. I just don't think we have to pay an arm and a leg to get it. I mean, this is ridiculous. Now, I understand they're in it to make money. I don't blame them. I'm in it to make money, although that's not the only thing. But you have to keep the lights on. I understand that. But gouging your customer base because you know you can do it doesn't make it right. So I don't think that's right. Now, black keyboard is ugly. So let's talk about the keyboard. So what's interesting is, to me, it looks a little different than the one I have on here. And you can see it here. And I don't know how I feel about the keyboard. Does it look okay? Now, I thought the keys were closer together, but upon closer inspection, I think it's just all black as opposed to being some gray in between the keys. On this one, if you could probably see it here, on mine here, but if you look at what's on the screen here, it looks like it's all black. And I don't know. I'd have to see that in person to make a final judgment. Keyboard maybe is probably fine. It's just the way it's coming off in the press images maybe. I don't know. I think it's a nice looking device. There's no question. It should look good at that price point. Just the facts and truth about the product. Yeah, David, that's all I'm here to do. If I like something, I'll tell you. And by the way, like I said, I'm happy about 80% of the changes they made here. The move back to all the ports that were missing, some of the ports that were missing, the move to get rid of that touch bar, I think it was a no-brainer. They had to do that. Nobody liked that touch bar. But again, no face recognition, no face ID. There's no HDMI. It's HDMI 2.0, not 2.1. It's a little nitpick, but that's not great. I can't upgrade this. I can't get inside. I can't get more RAM. I can't get more storage. That to me is negatives, especially on a Windows machine where I can do those things. And again, I don't have the numbers to compare here yet. And we don't know what Alder Lake is going to do. We're hearing good things about Alder Lake, the next gen, 12th gen Intel processors. Intel is not dead. Intel is not dead. It's a nice, I think it's nice. It looks good. Again, this is what I have here. This is a 2019. It looks good. I'm not going to criticize them too much for that. The notch I'm not crazy about. And it does look thicker to me, but it is a little bit reminiscent. And it may not be thicker. It just may be the way the images are looking to me. But it is a throwback in terms of the look back to like 2009 MacBook. So Mr. Uche, why is Apple charging so much for DDR RAM? That is a good question. Because they can, right? Who said that? Raphael said that. Yeah, Raphael said that. Yeah, I agree. Will be interesting to see. I care less about benchmarks and more about stressing the system using the Adobe products. That's a good point, Mallory. Zoom meetings are going to be important, especially with that 1080p camera. And browser windows open, etc. So you're more practical, real world usage, and that is the best way to look at this. Will it get the job done, right? And if it could do those things that you need it to do, then it's a great product at any price, right? So, but it gets to the point, though, I got to say, where to go from 1 terabyte of storage to 8 is just absolutely prohibitive, cost prohibitive. Practical, real-world usage. There's nothing better than that. A synthetic benchmark doesn't tell you how it will work in real-world usage. So glad it has the 1080p HD webcam like the iPad Pro. Yes. One thing I would say, though, I would have liked to have seen an IR camera on it to do face recognition like Windows Hello. I was hoping we'd get Face ID on this. Doesn't look like we're getting that. Now, one way to hide the notch, you can see they sort of do it here. They use a dark background to hide that notch, so you won't see it as much. So that might help out as well. All right, Mr. Uche, thank you so much for your comment and a great question. Why do they charge so much? Because they can. For the great words of Raphael. I don't think this is DDR RAM. This is unified RAM. Whatever the RAM is, it's damn expensive. And yeah, it's the unified RAM, and we've talked about it in past live streams. But still, the fact that you can't upgrade it or do anything with it is something to be aware of going into that. But again, you're going to have to buy the amount you need at the time of checkout. So not great. I'm not buying the battery life alleges with these machines. Never buy. I should say Apple has not been overly stating their battery life in years past. They've been actually pretty decent compared to some other companies that shall remain nameless. I'm not going to say who it is. So their battery life claims have been actually more true to life. But again, until we actually do the testing in real world usage, we won't know. But I don't think Apple exaggerates too much in that regard. Apple's advantage is they do the hardware and the OS. Microsoft's only contender. So Carrie is right. So having control of both the hardware and the software and not having to worry about third-party OEMs and so forth, being compatible with it and so forth, is a big advantage. They can lock it down. They can do everything they need to do with it, control every aspect of this product from R&D all the way to the shipping product. And that is an advantage, a distinct advantage that Apple has. One of the reasons Windows is so slow in terms of upgrading for security stuff and that, they have to really support legacy devices up to a certain point, of course. And that's one of the big things why Windows 11 wasn't going to be put on every laptop under the sun, or the desktop or laptop, because they had to cut it off somewhere, just simply because it's getting too much to try to support too many devices, and it's holding them back in some ways. It's much more difficult for Microsoft to upgrade an OS than, say, Apple, because Apple can control the hardware because they're the only ones making it. So that's an advantage. It is not an advantage if completely siloed. Okay, yeah. It's, but the cons to having the control is that you're able to nickel and dime your consumer, your customer base, with things like the RAM and the SSD and stuff like that, overcharging for that. Whereas on the Windows side, I can go out and get 2 sticks of RAM or upgrade the SSD at a much more competitive price, even with a chip shortage and so forth, even as we are speaking. Storage-wise, I can upgrade my Dell that I have here. So, I can upgrade this and I have no problem. So that is an advantage that this has. And the performance in real world performance has been great on this. I have no complaints on this. System on a chip design, they're able to make these performance claims. Could Intel and other ARM chips follow suit here? Maybe the Windows laptop of the future won't be upgradable. And I think Windows on ARM was one of the things that they're trying to push and still trying to push with Qualcomm and so forth. And we'll see what they have in store. They're working on it. We'll see. The few chips that have been released over the last couple of years on Windows and ARM, not great. Getting a little bit better as we go along. We most recently saw, say, something like the HP Elite Folio that we just took a look at, the pull-forward design with the easel-type mode and stuff like that. So we'll see how that all plays out. If you're a Mac OS user, where else are you going to go pay up? Yeah, it's the walled garden, whatever you want to call it. It's the you want to play, you're going to have to pay kind of thing. And they have you by the by the balls. All right. This is the After Dark show, people. This is the After Dark. And I didn't even drink tonight. I meant to bring down a beer, but I didn't. All right. So we've done this about an hour and 11 minutes. I don't know how much longer we're going to go. 118 people watching, 111 likes. Not too bad. People, hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. We got 120 of you watching. Good to see everybody. Big announcement today from Apple, as we've been discussing. It's an interesting product. Now, they also introduced today new AirPods. Does anybody care about those? I'm sure some people do. Where are they? So we got the AirPods, third generation, $179. And, you know, I don't do too many earphones or headphones on my channel, but for those that are interested, you can get the AirPods, $179. They're coming out. They'll be starting October 26th. So the people are talking about that. There are channels devoted to talk about how good they are. And we'll see. AirPods Pro, $249. And then, of course, AirPods Max, $549. Very, very pricey, especially when you look at something from Soundcore or some of the other OEMs that do this stuff. There you go. Great live stream. Thank you. I appreciate that, Raphael. Windows on ARM, Surface Duo, Surface X can definitely do better with Microsoft involved going forward. And that's the hope. You know, you hope that Microsoft goes full throttle with this to bring more competition, bring more innovation to the space, because what does innovation do? It spurs competition and it spurs competitiveness, and that means the consumer will benefit. It's a win-win for the consumer. You'll get more innovation and you'll get better pricing. But when one company dominates, they can control the pricing and they can price gouge you. And unfortunately, I think Apple, when it comes to the storage and the RAM options, really know how to, they're masters at that. Gaming sucks on the Mac. That might change with the new machine again. I don't know. Again, we don't have one in. I will get one in. We will talk about it. I don't know if it'll be next week. We'll see when they ship it, but whenever I get it, and we'll go from there. AirPods are ugly. Yeah, I don't use them. I actually like the ones from Google. The Pixel Buds A that I've been using have been really good. All right, William, I guess one can count dollars instead of sheep when they go to sleep tonight. They will not have a count high after purchasing one of these new Apples. Have a good evening, William. Yes, thank you. And yes, it is expensive. Not for everybody, not for the faint of heart in terms of that price tag. That's for sure. So thank you, William. All right, people, I think we're coming to a close here. We're at almost an hour and 15 minutes. I didn't want to go too long with the After Dark show. We can keep going, but I still have more work to do, and I have to eat dinner. So I want to thank the moderators for doing such a good job, and for everybody that showed up today. I got a lot of good stuff coming. I don't know when I'm going to get my MacBook Pro. We'll know once it ships. I'll let everybody know. We'll talk more about it and go from there. I still have some other Windows stuff coming in, some good stuff on that. And we are not having a funeral for Intel, at least not yet. So until next time, people, I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.